We're now with Coach Mike Dawson. I'll leave the first question to Parker Gabriel, Journal Star.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You got to work with Nick Henrich some over the course of camp here. He's played some outside. What has everyone we've talked to said he's made that transition relatively naturally? What has allowed him to do that, and what do you like about him as a young player?
Well, what's allowed him to do it is he's a football player. He's a natural football player. He's got a great nose for the ball. Some of the things that you spend a lot of time teaching guys about, hey, if you get a certain type of block, then you need to transition from the run game to the pass game or things like that, where he just went out there and just did it, which was really cool to see. He's got that knack and natural ability to find his way to the football. So that's been really probably the biggest thing that stood out as far as that goes. And then he's really smart, does a great job of taking what he learns in the classroom and bringing it to the field without a lot of repetition, which is great.
Ryan Christopherson, 24/7 Sports.
Hey, Mike. Eric mentioned Nico Cooper and Feldarius Payne as a couple of guys sort of in your working rotation. As junior college transfers, what's been the biggest obstacle for them, in this short time? What have you seen them do well? What's the challenge ahead to them contributing for you this fall?
Yeah, probably what's been a little bit more unique for all incoming guys is learning the new language, new system. Even though the plays may be similar or could be the same as, or techniques may be similar or same as, you're learning someone else's new language. So learning that piece of it and getting that part of it down, I think for all the new guys is a little bit different. Where you've had a little bit less time. Not a true training camp, even though we were kind of ramping it up here the last few weeks. You weren't really in training camp where you were with them from the time they woke up to the time they went to sleep, pretty much like you would be. They had other things going on, getting adjusted class and things like that, and that's been another new challenge for all those guys. So getting that piece of it down, I think, with all the new guys is pretty much the biggest hurdle I've had coming back and getting in with the new room.
Sean Callahan, Nebraska Online.
Hey, Coach Dawson, when you're playing an offense like Ohio State, I mean, how important is it that you find ways to keep them off balance? A couple of years ago in Columbus, you guys did a pretty good job of that at times, making them kind of feel off balance or putting them in some situations where they made mistakes. How do you go about doing that here in a season opener?
Yeah, I think when you're playing in an offense like this, they have so many weapons, not only on their skill players, but they have great offensive linemen as well, and they can do it with the quarterback and the multiple running backs and the receivers. So you have to, number one, be really on point with what you're doing and make sure that you're executing your assignments, not giving them big home runs. Yeah, you always want to keep the ball in front of you on defense and eliminate the big plays. So that's something you're going to have to do, and then we're going to have to do a good job of picking our shots to go ahead and be aggressive and be physical with these guys, and when the chances arise to be able to go ahead and apply pressure, be able to take advantage of it. So when that comes up, execute and make sure that you follow out your assignment. And then bottom line comes to this: we're going to have to play fast and play with Coach Frost says it all the time, no fear of failure and a desire to excel. That's what this is going to be, the pinnacle of that for us. We're going to have to really be flying around out there.
Sam McEwen, Omaha World Herald.
Hey, Mike, thanks for doing this. Do you have a good sense of how your group's going to perform on Saturday, or are you curious because some of these guys are new to the position? You have two junior college guys. Do you think it's going to take time for this group to kind of feel its way through a season?
That's a good question, Sam. To me, I think every coach wants their guys to go out there. Hey, when you put them out there and they hit this perfect game where there's no missed assignments, no missed tackles, and they've done it. We're all searching for that as defensive coaches. I think each individual case is going to be different. It's a little bit of a younger room. We have JoJo being kind of the only really senior in the group, but and obviously with the most playing time. But it's a younger group, and but the issue with this, or not issue, but the reality of it is that you don't have time to be young. This is live bullets and it counts, and get in there, and we need to execute. No one's going to feel sorry for us that they haven't done it, and everybody's got a level playing field. Everyone's dealing with the same, time restrictions and global pandemic that we have. So we're going to have to show up, and we're going to have to play hard and fast, and we're going to have to do it very, very quickly.
Mitch Sherman, The Athletic.
Hey, Mike. Coach Frost mentioned yesterday that you guys have added Damian Jackson to scholarship. And, of course, he's playing your spot. What has he brought to your group on and off the field?
Yeah, Damien's a great guy. I don't know. This is the thing that's kind of neat, or was neat to me. 2 years ago when I was coaching the defensive line, he was in my room, and then when I came back, he was still in my room, which is even though it was a different room. So that was kind of neat. He does a great job. Shows a lot. He obviously has some different world experiences than all of the rest of us, including me. So for the young guys, he's an awesome guy to kind of have as a guy that kind of takes control of the room when he needs to and has that leadership, and maybe not all the fine-tuned pieces of football. He's still pretty inexperienced that way, but as far as training and learning and carrying out a goal together as a group, there's no one better than he is at it. So he's been awesome to have in the room, and I look forward to seeing him every day. He's done a great job.
Parker Gabriel, Journal-Star.
Hey, Mike, this is sort of a general football question, but what are the hallmarks of someone who is good at setting the edge, whether they're playing on the defensive line or at outside linebacker? And how do you go about, teaching that, I guess, from a skill technique in addition to the sort of attitude or approach you need to do that effectively?
Okay, so for me, when we talk about setting the edge, the term I used, and James Betcher in New York last year used this term all the time, and it really struck home with me, set the edge at less than 90 degrees. So you want to set the edge from your position less than 90 degrees from the line of scrimmage. So you don't want to get pushed out or widened. So if we can set the edge as close to where the ball is being snapped from without widening ourselves and still keeping the proper leverage, that's what we're trying to get done. So now, that's also easier said than done. There's a lot of things that go into that. Angles, where am I lined up compared to the offensive lineman or the guy that's blocking me, tight end, whoever it might be, and then compared to the running back. Or what type of run action are you expecting? Is this going to be something that's a cutoff or a veer that are going away from me, or is this going to be a fan block that's coming at me? Now, all of a sudden, I'm in my position, and the blocker's coming at me, and I'm coming at him, so that time and space shrinks. So all those different factors come into us getting our hands on the man that's trying to block us, striking him, and then allowing us to set the edge and funnel the ball back where it's supposed to go, or where we want it to go, rather than where the offense wants it to go.
We'll finish this round with Derek Pearson, Hail Varsity.
Hey, Mike, where is Caleb Tanner at in your rotation right now, and what have you seen from him this camp?
Yeah, Caleb's done a nice job of trying to dive into being a complete football player, not just a pass rusher, not just a pass dropper, not just a run defender, trying to kind of do all three of them, if that makes sense. So he's going to have a big role. We get in and out of our base and nickel personnel, and that will do different things to the room, but he's a guy that's got to kind of be a switchblade a little bit, or not a switchblade, a Swiss Army knife is what I was looking for us, where he's got to be a bunch of different tools, and he's done a really good job with that. Looking forward to seeing him play fast and get out there and see what he can do on Saturday. He's done a good job so far with it, and just got to keep learning and keep working to get really fine tune his craft. If he can kind of be in all those positions and get really good at his skill, I think the sky's the limit with Caleb.
When you look at his film last year, I mean, he's a guy that looks like he's got all the physical tools for that position. What do you think has maybe kept him from being a consistent producer at that spot?
Yeah, I think what he's got to do just for him, and he and I have talked about this, is he's got to be an all-the-time player as far as, hey, on this rep, I'm going to be perfect at whatever this situation calls for. I'm going to be really, really good in my buzz technique in a pass drop, or I'm going to be really, really good at just what we just talking about, setting the edge at less than 90, not getting widened out, not creating the gap inside of me, because not only controlling my gap, but the gap inside of me can't get extended and elongated. So just getting better at kind of really hammering down those techniques, and not only kind of knowing where he's supposed to go and how he's supposed to fit, but also knowing how the way he plays is going to affect the guy behind him, the guy inside of him, the guy outside of him, wherever it may be, it's gonna your play is gonna affect the guys around you. So if he can understand what those guys are doing and kind of the concepts of the entire defense, rather than just memorize, hey, if Coach Schneer calls this, I better be in this gap. So if you can learn concepts rather than memorize where you're going to be, I think that helps, and that's something that I think that he's trying to get a lot better at, not only understanding what he has to do, but why he has to do it and how it affects the guys around him.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you, guys. We'll finish. That will be the last one for Coach Dawson. We'll hold the players here momentarily.
Thanks, guys.